Alright, so this is slime time. This is your typical mash to win boss of this game. So basically, if you're good at mashing, you'll be good at this level. If you're not good at mashing, well, you won't be very good at this level. But with that said, there are a couple things to look out for. So I'll start out by just explaining the mechanics of this boss first. So this boss doesn't have, I guess, what you call like traditional health. If you fire this guy, you'll notice his health bar doesn't go down. And that's because this particular level is done in 5 rounds, so to speak. And once you finish one round of the fight, it'll take off a fifth of his health. So to finish a round, basically you have to shoot him until he shrinks all the way into his trash can. So you'll notice that when I shoot him, he shrinks. But if you don't shoot him, he will grow back. So you shoot him, he'll shrink, and you'll notice a fifth of his health went away. So now, at the beginning of every round, he'll grow slightly bigger. So that's that. He has 2, I guess you can call them attacks. Basically, he can throw a little homing projectile thing at you, or he can jump. And that's basically all he can do. So, basically all we're going to do is we're going to start the level and just mash, and we're just basically not going to let him jump, because when he jumps, that's slow. We don't mind if he fires, but yeah, so I'll show you what that kind of looks like here. So we start, we run, and basically what you're going to want to do is now we're going to start the first round. So the first round is where you're going to do almost all the movement for the entire level. So basically, whether or not the boss is going to shoot or whether or not the boss is going to jump is directly dependent on how close you are to the boss. If you're within his set range, then he will always shoot, and if you're outside of his set range, he will always jump. So basically what we're doing is this first round, we're just getting close enough so that he will fire, but we're shooting him at the same time. So that just looks like that. So all I'm doing that first round is walking forward and firing as fast as I can. Now with the way that I personally spam, it works out to where I hold the up button for the entire time of round 1, and that puts me about exactly where I want to be, which is basically as far away from him as possible without him being so far away that he wants to jump. So I'll just show you real quick just about how far away that should be. So right about where I'm standing right here is where you want to be after round 1. So from this point, you're either barely over the edge to where he's going to fire or barely behind the edge. So now it's your job while you're spamming in the beginning of round 2 to figure out if you're within or outside of the range. So basically, we're going to be spamming at round 2, and he has one of 2 animations. When he's going to fire, you'll notice that he brings his arm back, and so you know he's going to fire. If he's going to jump, he just kind of like lurches down a little bit. But the main giveaway here is him bringing his arm back. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like here. If we were outside of his range, we can still kill him before he jumps in round 2. So I'm purposefully not going to walk forward far enough. And you'll notice, see how he didn't bring his arm back? So that was his jumping animation. He's going to jump right now. So what that means is at the beginning of this round 3, I need to be walking forward so I get within his range before he starts his attack. So now at the beginning of round 3, I'm past the range. He's not going to jump at me. He's just going to throw his projectiles at me, and I should be just barely over the line. And then from that point onward, it's just spamming. As I mentioned, there were 5 rounds, so I'll just kind of show you how this whole thing is put together. So first round, for me, I just hold forward all the time, the whole first round to put me right about here. He's doing the firing animation, so I don't need to walk forward at all. Round 3. This is going to be round 4. And the last round. Now, for me personally, with my shooting, I usually get hit once in round 5, and immediately once he goes in that trash can, you can exit level from here because he's done. But for me personally, I'll usually get hit once in round 5. Basically, if you get hit anytime before round 5, just make sure that you walk forward, because once you get hit, you'll get recoil and get knocked back, so just make sure that you walk forward so that you're within range again so that he's not going to jump. That's the main essence of this, just stay in range, but as far back as possible and spam. It's a pretty straightforward level. I mean, generally, if you get hit once in round 5, that's considered pretty good. If you get hit like twice, once in round 5 and once in round 4, that's considered alright. And if you're hit more than twice, then it's usually not considered great, but I mean, it's just going to depend on how well you mash. Getting hit doesn't actually lose that much time. It's just the time that it takes to get out of your couple invincibility frames after you get hit so that you can start mashing again. But yeah, that's slime time in a nutshell.